Hey,
How you guys all doing?
how's
Welcome.
everybody doing? Oh, RIP. I just missed a whole bunch of comments. I was looking at other stuff. Darn it.
No, how dare
Who
you?
died? Who died? Nina, who died? My mouse isn't working. Oh, it's off.
Henry Kissinger, by the sounds of it from the chat.
Oh,
That's
interesting.
yeah, it's one of those. It's sad.
100.
Yeah, it's
He lived to 100.
he lived to 100. It's again, it's one of those like that sucks when somebody passes away, but he lived to 100, so he had a
Wow.
long life. So all right.
It's still so short, though.
Well, I
Like, I'm
mean,
46 and I feel like it went by so fast. And if this went by so fast, my age, that's still really fucking short. Life is short.
it is. It is. I mean, it's short for me too. I mean, I'm a little bit longer than that. I'm at 50 now. So that's quite. Uh, it's quite a bit. Quite a bit more, I guess.
It's getting real, eh? It's getting
It
real.
is.
Yeah.
It gets a little bit real. You're kind of like, do I really? It, it it's also. But I also look at it like, I get limitation of time and everything else, because aging. I also remember people that don't really adapt, so I don't know. It's kind of weird. But hey, it's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. How are you guys all doing? There
I'm
is
good, but
a
I'm lagging. I'm lagging.
Why are you lagging?
I don't know. Due
Is
to
it your
limited
age?
bandwidth. I don't know why. I have a good computer. I don't know what where you and I will have to talk after. What does bandwidth have to do with anything and where do I fix it?
That would more than likely have to do with your internet speed. It might not have to do with your computer as
I
much
have
as your internet.
I have like the highest speed. They just changed my modem because of the problem I had last Wednesday. Always on a Wednesday.
Is your son downstairs gaming?
Yeah, but we have like crazy amount of what is it? A
We'll talk.
terabyte?
We'll talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that and actually find out what the truth about that is.
Okay. We will later. We won't bore you with this technical
No. If you guys
stuff.
want to be bored by technical, follow me on stuff when I go into technical rants, and you'll more than enjoy it for sure.
Yeah.
Till then, follow us here where we're getting less technical and more into everything going on.
Sorry, I'm lagging.
Yeah, it might make her quieter, but I doubt it.
Maybe.
Nothing will. So, lots of stories. Let's get into it. So the
Yeah.
first one has to do with what's been going on for the past 2 days. And apparently I may have had something to do with a little bit of it.
You're such an extremist troublemaker, Joe.
I heard people think I'm an
Man.
extremist, and I'm going to say right now, apparently
So
I'm an alleged political extremist. That's
and just
that's
causing
the word.
trouble all week. Like, what did you do? What did you do, Joe?
I know. What did I
What
do?
did you
Well,
do?
let's get into what the craziness I have done.
I don't know if we
So
can still be friends after this. Let's go.
I know. Yeah, I know. I can totally see you not wanting to be, associated with a political extremist, because you being the soft, quiet, demure person that we all know and
Right?
love.
Like, you're
Totally.
going to cramp my style.
Totally. So, as many of you guys knew, Ottawa was getting this particular event, the Christine Anderson's Make It Your Business North America tour, where she came in and told us how incredible far right things, including, the whole parada, which is, a different flavor of Islamophobia, anti-immigration, which is kind of a bit of a schmaltzy Nazi kind of thing, but that's open interpretation. Followed by many guests, including
She a
Dutch,
Nazi.
absolutely, including Dutch commentator Eva, and then some of the great Canadian ones that we know, including Pastor Hilbrandt, Josh Alexander, Maggie Hope Braun, and many others.
Have you heard her speak? It's
Which one? There was a
terrible.
few here I mentioned.
Maggie.
Maggie?
I don't really
Yes.
listen to the other people speak. Josh
Oh,
has
I've
the
talked to her in
same.
person a couple of times. Like
Yeah, me
this
too.
close. Yeah,
I know,
I
me
know.
too. But I'm
Yeah.
talking like when she's doing a public speaking in front of an audience. Blah. Anyway, what did you do? What happened?
So,
Like,
um, so it got interesting because again, they've got today. So I'm also going to plug a little bit here about tomorrow. Tomorrow they're going to be supposed to be doing a rally. They're all going to get to Parliament Hill and say, "Yay, let's crush Canada's Constitution by
just
promoting ideas that are not Canadian."
I love
Sorry,
that poster, Cookie Lady. If you
it
ever
is
see this,
absolutely Canadian
thanks,
calculators
Cookie
is in
Lady, for
there.
the work you do.
Yes. One of the many people we want to thank, and definitely Cookie Lady, you're definitely one as we appreciate, and especially with the style. You know what?
I
There is
love
a
it.
beautiful style that she puts in there. So thank you, Cookie Lady, because it's hard to miss. But yeah, so tomorrow there is a rally they're doing there. Now, CSO has sent out a message that they are trying to rally people to show up there. So if you can show up tomorrow, take a look in my timeline. I'll probably send out another retweet for the people rallying tomorrow. If they want to join in, it's tomorrow morning around 10 o'clock to try to counter this particular rally. But here, these guys were getting together. Um, as I mentioned there, they were getting together at the conference center. So the Ottawa Conference Center, Event Center in Ottawa, which is right beside the Hampton Inn. So myself and many others, we were promoting this to try to get people out there and get involved and try to see if we can contact the event center to let them know, hey, this is a hate rally. This is stuff that we may not want to have in our city, let alone into your venue. Could you please take a look? So the Ottawa Conference Event Center was quite quick and took a look at it. They quick is a bit relative, and that's fine. And I understand they took a couple of hours to do whatever they need to do, but within a couple of hours, they sent out messages to everybody else, as well as just canceled the event altogether and refunded the people who uh, did this. And interesting points here. So aside from myself getting that particular email, I did get the email back saying, "Yep, it's been canceled as of as the event center. We want nothing to do with this." This is a template that they sent out to everybody else, which I more than understand. They had a few emails. Fantastic, absolutely wonderful. As well as we also got
Joe,
to see. Yes,
you disappeared for a while. Did that happen to everybody else? I swear you disappeared for like
you can't see me. Can't see me.
for me, and it even went to like gray screen with your name on it as if you had logged out and logged back in. So I'm pretty sure it happened for everybody else too.
If anybody can confirm or deny,
Didn't
nope,
happen for you?
nope, just you.
Damn it.
Last month we're on this platform. Last month.
I don't know if it's the platform or my internet like we were talking about, but anyway, keep going. Keep going.
Both could
It's
be
good.
true. So, um, so again, now we got confirmation also from Tammy Peterson, Jordan Peterson's wife, confirming that the event is canceled from the perspective of somebody who, and I'm not sure if Tammy Peterson rented the location for Trinity Productions or was copying Trinity Productions, because Tammy Peterson showed their email that was received, and then Trinity Productions, which includes favorites like Loser X Nurse
Huh.
and a new fan of mine, Stacy. I want to say Stacy Kettle.
She's nuts. That girl
She's my new
nuts.
fan. Yeah, yeah. She looks a little hangry. I offered a
Oh,
Snickers bar. I don't know
sh-
if she took it.
I was like, is this a troll account? So I checked her profile picture and then I checked her name that she had on Twitter, on Facebook, and it's the
Hmm.
exact same picture. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. And then I look and she's been on the platform for a really long time and she is fucking nuts. Her Facebook is nuts.
Yeah.
Like and then the fact that she's like saying that shit to you, girl, get a fucking life.
She was very vocal. I
Nuts.
mean, she even came out and said, like, hey. And again, replying to me a couple of times, and apparently I've now touched her on a personal level, which is awkward. Um, because she's like, you will never defeat us. So she's got 3 other venues, and then we heard another message where there's 10 more venues and this many more venues. They did find another venue. We'll get to that in a minute. So,
They
but
didn't just find another venue. They had booked a backup venue. Don't be kidding yourselves.
pacing, pacing.
Oh, pacing. This is just my observation. Is there
No,
is there
your
proof of this?
observations can come. That's but pacing,
Sweet.
pacing. Um, so she's mentioning she got 3 other venues, and then there was other messages where like 10 others and this many others and that many others. I'm like, all right, fine. At first, when I saw her message, like she's like Stacy Cutter, I'm like, who the hell is this? You know, wingnut. Didn't realize that she was part of the actual Trinity Productions, but all right, cool. So we fast forward to the next day, find out that they found a new location, Preston Event Center. And so same thing. We decide to continue on and do like, hey, we'll do this. Let's continue this on. Go forward. But it was clear that this was going to be a little bit more difficult, as we discovered rather quickly. The Preston Event Center was far more aggressive
Mm-hmm.
in regards to defending their views. So it looks that they were very much more Chud friendly, and there's a lot of people that got involved in there, including some of the people that are their clientels that reached out to them and saying like, "Hey, this is not a good look, and we're now kind of associated with you guys
Mm.
because we use your venue and this." So they're totally, so it's going to be interesting. These guys
Well,
decide
maybe they
to
need to go to the Ottawa venue, the first one that canceled. There's a new
absolutely.
relationship there.
I think
Every
there's absolute potential. So,
yeah.
and it's one of those things I'd like to sort of like listen. Ottawa, Conference and Event Center had them booked. Did not know what they were. Once they understood what they were, they said, "Listen, we don't want this. This is not what we want. This is not
Yeah.
what we represent. This is not the business we want." We got them out. Totally fair. I think they're absolutely wonderful. We should support Ottawa Conference and
Friggin'
Event Center.
right.
Preston chose not to.
Chose
They were
violence.
told, they chose violence is another way of putting it. They chose to continue with this particular client. That's fine. You can continue with that particular client. We, as individuals, don't want to associate with people who choose to associate with that particular client. And so that can also translate to other clients. Because remember, you're a wedding and event place. So weddings, which is predominantly by the young people, will probably not react well. Because young people don't react well to far right hate. So
Mm-hmm.
they may choose another place. They
Thank
may
you.
like a thank you for the like. They may prefer to go to a place that doesn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Ottawa Conference and Event Center.
Correct.
And for the other places, because it's not the only type of event they'll have there. They'll also have like things like commercial lunches and dinners for
Yeah.
businesses and
It's an
whatnot.
event
And
center.
it's an event center.
Mm-hmm.
And again, some of those may not want to be associated with, a far right place that goes to far right. So, and if they don't, well, places like Ottawa Conference Event Center, who's established and quite well made,
Yeah.
you won't have to worry about those issues there. So, we finished the FA, we're getting to the FO.
I agree. There's a bit of a marketing game going on right now though. So they've picked out a couple of venues in advance
Mm-hmm.
because and to them, like if you cancel a venue, I don't know, they're stupid this way, but they think that that's good like PR for them because it gets people talking, right? So it's like everybody's talking about it. But at the same time, it's never a good thing to be known as a fucking Nazi, you idiot. And the fact that you are trying to, like, it's just so disgusting. Like, people see through that shit.
It's true, but I mean, it's one of those that's that I've always found kind of interesting because we've always viewed it as the quiet part people don't say out loud,
Mm, yep.
but people are getting more comfortable to say
Yeah,
it out
yeah.
loud.
And they're getting more bold and it's gross.
Yeah,
So we should always shut that shit down every
yeah,
fucking single time. And now that we know that they pre-plan and find other venues, we can figure that shit out too and get ahead of it. So fuck them.
yeah. So we
And
need to make.
fuck the Preston Event Center because they're totally shutting people out and they know exactly what they're doing and they're purposely trying to avoid accountability and they just are going to plow through this because they're fucking Nazis too. Like I said in the Google review, if you've got 9 Nazis sitting around your table and you're pulling the chair out, there are 10 fucking Nazis at the table. Fuck you, Preston Event Center. That's
I cannot disagree.
There it is.
So, because of all this, I've now been labeled a
Extremist.
political
Bum, bum,
extremist.
bum.
I still say alleged, because I'm so radical. Shield your eyes, kids. That's what you get.
You're the boring extremist. You're extremist boring.
I'm a very boring extremist.
You're so,
For those who are not
it's
fully,
an inside
it's
joke, you guys, or it's
yeah,
outside. But if you don't know about it, we're not going to talk about it now.
it's just one of those. It's just like,
Joe gets labels from a certain somebody, and she calls him boring, and then she calls him a political extremist. So it's pretty cool.
I'm just like, you know what?
You're
Pick one,
just a
dude.
regular Joe Blow.
I'm like, pick
But
a lane, dude.
extremist though.
Extreme. All right.
That's the funniest shit ever.
Ah,
Magic
move.
Hand must be laughing their ass
Oh,
off. They
oh, she's
must
in
be.
tears. She's like,
Yeah.
you're a what? Okay. Yeah. I've had all sorts of weird labels this week. I'm just like, all right, it's just another one. I don't care anymore.
It's all good.
It is. So, moving on from one cray cray to another cray cray in Ottawa, we move over to back to Wellington, where we last saw Matt Venn on Parliament Hill on Wellington Street complaining.
This
Where
sounds
has he
like it's
been?
going to be a sad story.
Don't ruin it. Don't ruin my punchline, woman. I'll get all political and scream on you. So let's go back to Matt Venn and see if he finished off where he left off or he just continued on for a week.
Right here, doing whatever he wants. At the end, we will not die, we will not quit, we will not give up. We will stand and hold the line. Do you understand this? This is what a freedom fighter's all about. Of our land, he can pollute our air, he can pollute our water, he can step on human rights, and everybody is accepting it. I'm sorry to say, but this shit needs to stop. It needs to stop. This dictation, this control, this nonsense needs to stop. This leadership and all these corrupt politicians, all of them needs to go. Are you going to accept this much longer?
Oops.
Okay. So I just Googled the 7 stages of grief, and I think we are watching it live. He's at the angry stage. I just don't remember
I feel he's
the
been there for a
order.
while.
Yeah, but the other one, he was like pleading and stuff. So he was like in the denial stage, I think, or like the last 2 years have been the denial stage, but you know what I mean.
Mhm.
And yeah, um, he's in the anger stage now. Like that was some angry shit.
Urgh!
Shock,
Oh.
stage 1, shock and denial. Stage 2, pain and guilt. Stage 3, anger and bargaining. That's what he was doing.
He did seem quite angry.
We
He
are
did seem
going
quite
to
angry.
hit stage 4, everybody. Stage 4 will be depression, reflection, and loneliness. That's a sad stage.
It is. It is absolutely. And
And
it does feel like we're seeing the stages of grief all in real time. Like it's
we are.
just absolutely. Now, I did, if you watch me here, I did go forward into the screen while I was looking at this because I thought as he's ranting, and I didn't quite realize, and it turned out it wasn't quite the thing. I thought he lost a couple of dreads of his beard dreads. He did. He did. It just kind of
Okay.
curled up and fell up into
That
underneath
would
there.
be
But
weird.
I was just like, did you? No. So
What stage is Lafaci at? I have no idea. That guy,
he's a single stage guy.
like, yeah, he's like, yeah. I don't think he feels feelings the way normal people feel feelings.
No, he feels them and expresses them in
It's so weird. I don't know
really awkward ways.
that he would follow the 7 stages of grief, and I don't know. He's out there, man.
He is. He
Anyway,
is. But
next.
I mean, so Matt is still there, and it's I'm thinking back and I'm looking at this. Like I'm looking at kind of like Wellington. Wellington's kind of toast now, if you think about it. Which is kind of weird, and it's kind of weird because certain characters have been removed, and characters you didn't realize were significant in a weird kind of way had an effect. Like Carl's presence not being there has an effect. He wasn't a leader or anything else, but you know what? He did add that sort of like, that guy who's just
Don't get
always
any
gonna be there.
ideas there, Carl. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to work out.
That's
Yeah.
that's not it. Again, you tried to lead shit and it just never did anything. That's not it. But
Thank
thank
you.
Carl.
Thank you, Carl.
Not Carl, but still, I thought it was kind of funny. But yeah, no, he did have an effect in regards to being there and just being the present guy that was just always as kind of the guy there. So with PS having did the thing that arrested some of these guys and just kind of pushed them away 500 meters, not a huge amount, but just enough to be away from directly in front of Parliament. I think that and a couple other incidences, the Wellington regulars are just going to be thinning out. Especially since some of these guys were never really Wellington regulars. They're Wellington regulars, but not like Daisy.
Yeah.
He's just there when it's convenient or appropriate or useful.
When he's not hanging out with, like, the higher up Nazis.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not with racists. I'm like, yeah, okay. Those guys that are screaming WLM, you okay with them? Yeah, they seem like decent guys. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And yeah, they even said that they were with White Lives Matter in that conversation. Like, it was so stupid.
Absolutely.
Oh, cool.
So,
yeah, okay.
mm-hmm. Hinterlands who don't give me ideas. Oh no, do. Oh no, actually do. Just yeah.
Winterland.
Hinterlands who. That is a classic Canadian. Absolute classic Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on, since there's not really much left right now when it comes to dear old whatchamacallit?
Just on second.
Regulars.
G-Man Prime. Good luck with your surgery tomorrow.
Oh.
Yep. Good night. Sleep well.
Yes, by all means.
Mm-hmm.
By all means. Good luck with it.
I hope your doctor wears a mask, Mike. The chat's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Thanks, J-Man. Love you.
Yeah.
Hope you're well tomorrow. So back to the next story. So we're going to be leaving Ottawa and going straight out to the west coast, to the far west coast, to BC. And we're going, as many of you guys have been aware, is the story of the SOGI tractor. So I'm going to let Global News give you guys the details of what's going on there.
A baffling sight. 3 police cruisers tailing the speeding tractor.
Rest of the dump trucks, vans, semis, everything behind me. I'm on a tractor.
We're told the man behind the wheel is Malky Shoker, who's part of a road rally protesting SOGI. SOGI stands for Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity.
I would like all the parents watching this, if you love your children, please support this cause before it's too late.
This crash happened Saturday afternoon along Golden Ears Way near the Highway 1 on-ramp.
What we saw is the tractor make contact with the police car a couple more times before finally making contact and actually roll all the way over, and the operator or tractor driver fell out of the sunroof.
Authorities say the driver was taken into custody and later taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. We go to Shoker's home to learn more. A woman who identifies herself as his wife answers the door.
No, he just mentioned to me like they are going for that rally. I don't know, that SOGI rally.
The SOGI program is meant to create acceptance and inclusion for LGBTQ students.
Can you tell me what his stance is on SOGI?
Like he want to stop that, like whatever they are.
We contacted the RCMP for an update and to find out what triggered this police chase. They referred us to the Independent Investigations Office. The IIO confirms it is conducting a preliminary investigation. The police watchdog is called to cases that result in serious harm or death, whether or not there are any allegations of wrongdoing.
Shoker's wife says he remains in hospital and needs surgery.
I think they are saying is his backbone broken or something like that.
Why was he driving his tractor?
I have no idea that.
A factor that will likely be key in this investigation. Angela Jung, Global News.
The first thing that I just want to say, that I noticed. Okay. The first thing that is the most profound for me is how sort of like nonchalant the wife was about whatever surgery he's getting. Like she just doesn't really know. It's something to do with the back is broken or something. That's how she she's getting surgery, his back that's broken somewhere, whatever, or something like that. Like she didn't. So that's my first thing, is that the biggest thing for me in that little clip that we saw.
Yeah, it does seem, she seems a little like he's got something up going with his back. It seems, and you know what? I don't want to criticize her too much because.
Oh, I'm not criticizing her. Yeah. That's not a criticism. That's an observation of how probably their relationship is. That is not a criticism of her by any means. It's all him.
Yeah, and it's that could be sort of something to comment on in regards to, and again, I feel I don't want to go too much into it, but again, it could be something there, which is, she seems to be a little detached. Yeah, I guess to the whole thing.
Agreed.
She's detached to his condition, let alone probably detached to his particular like. Going after SOGI, driving a tractor.
Yeah, I don't know why he took the tractor. Like, just.
Yeah, like she seems to be sort of very, very uninvolved in regards to what he's doing. I mean, Magic Ann has doesn't get involved in regards to the activism that I'm doing, but Lieutenant Cam is very aware of the activism I'm doing. Does, and will tell me if they don't agree or if they agree or disagree with what I'm doing.
Right.
So far they do. So yeah, it's kind of a weird kind of response. And I agree with that. The other thing, which is a weird thing, which is to take a tractor down the friggin' highway and try to drive crazy, is just a little ridiculous. Now I do have another video that kind of explains everything, because, well, it's brought to us by Ron. He explains everything.
Ron, the con from the convoy.
Ron, the Nonvoy convoy.
He's the con.
Exactly. So you know what? Let's Ron explain it. Thank you for the like.
The new like.
So I will give you guys an update on the tractor situation, because I found out about that tractor situation today. So we will give you guys an update on that as well. So first I want to talk about the tractor situation in BC that was going down the highway, and the 2 RCMP officers intercepted that tractor and flipped it over. So that tractor was leading one of the convoys down that way for their SOGI thing over the weekend, and they had all permission from the police officers and stuff. 5 cars back, there was a police officer that was in the convoy making sure everything was okay. But what happened was the tractor driver, he's a diabetic, and he was radioing for some food and stuff, and they couldn't get food up to him fast enough. So being a diabetic, he was having a bit of issues, and he was swerving. So that's when the police intervened, because he was having a bad time. So the police intervened and ended up flipping that tractor, because he was not in the right state of the mind, because being a diabetic with no food and stuff like that. So that is the situation on that tractor. It is a sad situation, but the driver of the tractor was having issues because he's a diabetic with no food and stuff. So it's like a bad situation, but it needed to happen, kind of.
You said that already.
So that's just a quick update, so you guys all know what happened with that situation with that tractor and why it happened that way, because I'm sure there's so many rumors out there. So, and I just got off the phone 5 minutes ago and found out the whole story on that tractor situation.
Because Deana,
and that's what happened.
I don't know if you know about the situation, but the whole tractor situation came down.
Yeah, just found out about it, and so the situation is correct. So that's the situation. Like, that guy is the worst liar ever. They don't even think about their lies, and they know they're lying, and they're trying to say it over and over and over again, because they're trying to think of a way to say it better, because it's bullshit. And he does it all the time, about the pedophile that they brought into their fucking Camp Hope, about this shit, about the fundraising. Like, this guy tries to cover his ass all the fucking time. Yeah, exactly. Pedo bear. Fuck.
Pedo bear. Okay.
Yeah.
It's bad enough you bring somebody who's already been clearly called out to be a pedophile, but you dress him up as fucking pedo bear. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Right?
Christ.
It's like crazy. It's fucked. Like, somebody is playing tricks on us, jokes. Like, we are in a joke movie, and it's like the comedy of the Truman Show, maybe. Like, this fucked up shit.
Are you fucking with us? Like, seriously?
Yeah, 100%. It feels so nuts that these people are so fucking nuts. But anyway, Ron Clark is a liar, and I'm so sick of listening to, like, he's terrible at it.
They usually are.
Oh my God. It's just too much. These people are too much. And I can't believe they have people who follow them and believe their shit. It's too much.
Oh, they
Oh, yeah. And did they even think, like, did he think through what he said? Because we all saw the live stream that he was doing, and like we saw in the rear view mirror the police that were back there, and he's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And his wife mentioned nothing of diabetes, nothing of him, whatever.
Well, it's true, because I mean, like, if anything, the wife should be mentioning the diabetes, because you know what? It's a serious problem. Because again, diabetes is a serious problem.
Like all of it's bullshit.
Yeah.
We saw the proof. We saw it ourselves. He streamed himself being a fucking idiot in so many ways than one. Like, so many more ways than one. He's a fucking, like, if you love your kids, we better do something now. I'll flip my tractor and be a fucking like, whatever, fuck. I don't know what to say, man. These people are dumb.
So the crappy thing is, again, it's like, you want to do some dumb shit? Fine. Do as much dumb shit you want.
No, not
Enjoy
even fine.
some of the consequences of that.
Karma.
It is. I'm not crazy about him having injured his back seriously, where it could lead to long term.
I'm not losing any sleep over it.
Yeah, I'm just like, you know what? Do dumb shit if you want to.
No, he was about to. He is going on a trip with a bunch of other fucking bigots to try to make other people out to be less than human and trying to cancel them. He can fucking fall on his head next time. I don't give a flying fuck. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, if he didn't wear a seatbelt, then I feel he might have just brought that on.
He didn't wear a seatbelt. He thinks he's invincible. He thinks he's fucking whatever. The usual stupid chud fucking nonsense. No, I'm not going to wear a seatbelt. I'm not going to be restricted. This is safe. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to speed in this tractor. I'm not allowed on a tractor on the fucking highway.
You're allowed. As long as your vehicle can go up to 60 kilometers an hour, you're allowed to be on the highway. It's a weird thing I decided to learn about highway traffic. I don't know why. I think there was alcohol involved. Usually there is. But yeah, no, you're allowed to be in a vehicle as long as you can get up to 60 kilometers an hour, because vehicles on the highway need to be minimum 60, maximum 100.
Can that tractor go 60?
Minimum 60, maximum 100, so that you can stay with the flow of traffic.
I'm reading something different, but anyways.
Highway Act also covers the non-highways that we know.
Okay.
So, moving on. We move to Coutts. The Coutts boys. Now, the Nonvoy leaders, who are now no longer at the Nonvoy, being leaders, have moved over back to Alberta to, work with the Coutts boys.
Grift. Yeah. Lots of money. Exactly. Lots of money raised for these boys.
They are. So, they've been there. And Ricky Julian, Freedom George and Ron Clark have been working hard to raise money for them. I'll let them talk about that.
And what these people are doing out there with the drama, we have to curb that. And we're going to curb it. We're going to make a team of good people to curb that stuff.
I don't think it's happening for anybody. Is it
we also would like to make a team of people with certain skill sets and such, in certain ways to speak, and that to speak a little more when we can. I work a lot, do what we can. But we have to build a team, and we have to concentrate on the men and their money towards the lawyers, fundraising and awareness and all this stuff. But the key is to work together as independents, but in a group.
Because every single time that we do any kind of an event and money gets involved, it's chaos. It's absolutely chaos. It shouldn't matter about the money.
For coming out tonight, and it was nice to see another town getting involved. I'm kind of doing the same thing myself. It's not going to start till March. But I'm trying to raise awareness for the men as well, starting down at the Bearberry Saloon, west of Sundre, and then I want to work my way all the way up north and get everybody else involved in their little towns and do a spaghetti dinner. Maybe twice a month, maybe 3 times a month, whatever we have to do to raise. Don't be afraid when people look at you and think you're crazy, because you're not. And I get a lot of people looking at me like I'm crazy, believe me. And sometimes I am, I admit. I'm a little crazy.
Over 500,000 Albertans have taken their latest COVID booster. Why is that? Parents are taking their children there because they're still believing doctors, pharmacists, and nurses. And the government of Alberta, and the NDP also.
Good evening, everyone. First thing I want to say is thanks to all the volunteers that made this happen, especially the kitchen, because I'm a fat guy and I love food, so thank you. And whoever made those butter tarts, are you single? Those were delicious. I'm not sure why I got called up here.
Everybody's trying to get a piece of the pie. Everybody.
No, nobody's trying to get a piece of pie. They want a piece of the butter tart.
Butter tart, yeah. They're all a bunch of butter tarts. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Like, it kind of hurts my head watching that shit.
Especially now, it feels like you're literally stuck in whatever that, like, you're stuck in that time that just everybody's like, we're done, we've moved on. We're done with this whatever bullshit vaccine convoy shit you guys are still living in.
I feel like the Coutts boys know that the longer that it takes for them to go, like, aren't they the ones who delayed their trial? Like, I thought that they delayed. I don't know.
I don't know the details.
But I feel like the longer they're in jail, the more money they're going to rake in. They're not going to rake in any money if they're not in jail. I mean, they're going to ask for money for their lawyers' fees, but it's not going to be
more money in jail. That's sure, but they may or may not be aware of this because, again, we're dealing with a group of people that are not seeming to be very, very aware of anything going on around them.
Sort of, but these people know how to grift, man. Like the higher ups that are grifting.
Come on,
You've
had a 5-minute conversation with Freedom George.
No. I'm not talking about Freedom George. I'm talking about the Coutts boys. Like, how much money have they raised already?
Yes, but I mean, again, they've been stuck in jail, and I'm sure they may or may not want to be getting out of jail. And understandably, the other thing too is that while they're spending time in jail, they're actually knocking time off their sentence.
That's right, because it's time and a half or whatever.
Exactly, time and a half.
Yeah,
based on whatever they serve. So there's that. To me, thinking they're getting they know they could be spending some time.
That's right, and so they're trying to get it done faster. Yeah, like whatever. But it's so easy to say, oh my God, they've been in jail for 700 and blah, blah, blah days and not had a trial. It's like, yeah. But I feel like I'm pretty sure maybe somebody put it in the comments, but I feel like one of the reasons part of why they're delayed is there was, I don't know, whatever. We'll see.
Fair enough.
But Freedom George is making money. And he says he's giving it to the Coutts boys, whatever. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've got some questions about that.
Me too.
Like, there is money that he was collecting for the Castleman Group.
I know.
What about the buildings they're making for Castleman?
So innovative.
So, screenshot that I captured and posted up there, which was somebody else brought to me. This is one of their wonderful structures. As they're preparing over in Castleman for the environment changing, particularly like to call in Canada, what's the word for it? Oh yeah, winter.
Extreme
coming.
Winter. Winter is coming.
Is coming.
Exactly.
we're watching them prepare for this. And so I feel I need to show you guys. So Mayor McCheese, good sort of coverage in regards to this particular structure, as well as some of the other structures in Camp Castleman as to what the fuck are you guys doing?
I can't. In
I'm gonna cover all this. I'm gonna put the roof on top and put the wood stove in the middle right here. On va faire un toit là-dessus. Donc on protège nos roulottes. Je vais vous montrer un petit peu comment on s'enligne. Isoler le tour de nos roulottes. Of the day. It's fucking cold this morning.
Get better.
On va en faire entrer d'autres. Hein, nos chums ici sont en train de faire une petite installation un peu comme nous autres. Ils vont se mettre 3 roulottes puis ils vont faire une affaire entre les deux. Chauffer. Our brother there is doing the same thing as us. We're gonna make a tarp on top. Put a wall there and a wood stove in the middle. Another one there. Winter tent.
They're winterizing. They're building like these permanent structures. I wonder what all of them are going to do for work over the winter.
You call those permanent structures?
Well, I mean, they're permanent weather permitting, which is not very strong weather, but you know what I mean. Like they're erecting shit, like they're just, yeah.
Sorry, I'm putting not a complex comment.
Yeah,
because we're going to discuss it in a minute.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like, so there's a lot of what I call improvised structures.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that particular sort of like, we're protecting the campers by putting the tarp. Like, you're protecting campers. Campers are just supposed to be are designed to be outdoors. That's the whole.
I don't know about being outdoors in minus 30-degree weather, though.
Campers?
They're not. they're not built for that.
I'm not saying all campers are. I'm not saying all campers are not. Some are, some are not. But even putting even if your camper is not designed for minus 30-degree weather, putting a tarp over the fucking thing is not going to make it designed for it. But it's one of those things that's just, thank you, Magic Hand. It's just not going to be protected by just something as simple as a tarp. And just, again, everything we're seeing here is kind of improvised. We're not seeing much.
They have a wood stove in there.
There's a wood stove, but I'm not sure what kind of insulation, and I'm pretty sure that's just a free tarp above their heads. You saw the exterior, like you and I were discussing the front exterior, like we were in stitches, like what the fuck?
What is going on?
I mean, it's very much like what the fuck, because it was just.
But the thing is like, I thought the agreement was that they were going to do work on the farm while they were there, and like, what work can they do over the winter on that farm? What kind of farm is that?
So when it comes to building constructions, you tend to try to do whatever your exterior is during the milder climate.
Yeah.
Enclose your structure, and then you're free to do whatever the hell you need to do on the interior, because in the wintertime or when the elements are more active, because you're enclosed, you can do whatever you need to do. So you do the insulation or do everything else, you're good to go.
Right.
But again, we're not even sure what the hell you guys are doing.
I'm talking about what work are they going to do for the farmer? That was the deal, that they were exchanging to do work, to have a place to be. There's nothing to do in the winter, is there?
Yeah, and again, I'm not sure what these guys, what the farmer's expecting, and what these guys are capable of doing, and if they are matching, and what the promises are made versus what they're going to be doing.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm just asking. Whatever. Like, yeah, it totally looks like they are people who got evicted from where they were, or knew that they were going to get evicted, and have built a camp, commune, whatever you want to call it.
Totally. It totally feels like that. Completely.
They're fighting for nothing right now. Like nothing they're doing is anything. They're just trying to find a place to stay and have a common goal, which is.
Yeah, but guys, you don't understand. Freedom.
Yeah. I'm just as free as they are, and I'm in my nice warm house. I mean, I know not everybody can have a house, but they could have. But they chose something different. Like they had a place where they were renting. They're able to raise all this money to be able to build these silly structures and have campers and stuff. Don't tell me they couldn't have paid their rent where they were.
So
with their kids.
They have now decided to try to be benevolent and expand the camp. And I'm going to let Norman explain it.
I hate this idea.
I don't hate the concept. I do hate the implementation.
I hate the idea.
And we're gonna go take 20 homeless people, but the homeless people, they want to fight with us, and those ones, they want to change, and they want to have a life. So we're gonna take 20 with us. And I never said that on live before, but we already have 3 homeless people before here. The only problem we had, it was from the city. The city, they can ask for septic tank, but no, it's okay. The septic tank, we have the tank in our camper, and we have the tank, we have the toilet here, the chemical toilet. So we have a guy, they come empty it, so we're good to do it. So we cannot take, we want to be clear, guys, we cannot, don't send homeless people here. don't say everywhere it's an open camp for homeless, because we're not able to take the homeless everywhere and every kind of homeless, because they have mental issue, they have a drug addict problem, and make some exchange service and go work on their farm and have some food for feed herself. So everyone gonna work. Those 20 person we're gonna go pick up if they want, and I'm sure they're gonna say yes. We're gonna tell them we have a fight to do against this corruption, and I really know they have a lot of them. They mad against this corruption government, and they're gonna be willing to fight with us.
I mean, he keeps saying that the homeless people want to fight with them.
Well, he wants homeless people to fight with them.
But why?
Because he wants numbers. Because he hasn't gotten fucking numbers.
Oh my God. Oh my God. To fight with them, like they're gonna fight together. I'm like, why do they want to fight with homeless people? Oh my Lord.
Oh my God, did you seriously?
Whoa. I'm like, he wants to fight with. Okay, hilarious. Cool.
Oh honey. Oh honey.
So he thinks he's gonna find 20 people, homeless people to. Okay, I get it.
Well, I think he's hoping to get 20 homeless people because that's what they might be able to budget. Because again, if you're going to get homeless people, you need to feed them and take care of them and whatnot.
Yeah,
they have no resources on their own. So get them to try to participate to help fight together with them. Because again, I think it has to do with the fact that we remember all the plans these guys had, especially back in September when they're all ready to do this plan where they're going to be taking over the entire cities and the government and everything else because they're coming in massive numbers, and they just never had massive numbers. They never had numbers.
To them, 12,000 was massive. Like they on it because they on it when during the convoy, I asked so many of them if they had ever been to a protest when they'd say to me, "Look at how many people are here." I'm like, is this your first protest? And they'd be like, "Yeah." And I'm like, man, you do know you're in Ottawa. Like we do protests all the time. And this is not a huge protest. Like the amount of vehicles is huge. That's
the vehicles
different.
is a massive difference.
But the amount of people, this is not huge, guys.
No.
Like, yeah.
No.
And I just want to correct Mikey. I'm not tired. I smoked a joint before this episode. I'm just high and I'm coming down.
This is why Deana usually does not get...
I don't usually smoke before the show, but I've had my life is insane. So I decided, you know what?
For everybody.
Yeah, man.
That's just you. I will admit it's been an interesting week. In some cases, an interesting couple of days for some people.
Love it.
So I don't know.
It's chaos.
I still hold by my argument that you're just old now, woman.
That too. I mean, I'm not denying that I'm old. Like, look at these crow's feet. Like, I definitely have wrinkles. Look at this. I have my laugh lines now. Like, I didn't have that when I was younger. I've got dimples that were never there before.
You're decrepit.
Aging.
I know you're so old. I couldn't imagine that.
I'm good with it, though.
That's good. You need to be good with it.
I am.
Perfect.
That's why I don't put filters and shit. I don't give a shit about that stuff.
Just us in the raw natural.
Take me as I am. Tired, stoned, wrinkly, stretchy.
As the TikTok kids will say, marrying iguanas.
So
that's what they say. You can't say stone. They can't say cannabis. You can't say anything else. So they're outside marrying iguanas. So
Oh, cool.
that's what the kids are saying. So there you go. You're marrying iguanas.
Yeah.
Moving on. So this one's kind of so we're moving towards more of the events that's more recent and as unlike the right and their weird non-versions, we're going to be going more into the events currently going on, which in regards to Palestinian. So this first story here is one that caught my attention as I was looking, and I discussed this with Deana. As we were discussing it, I wasn't too sure this is going to be something we should discuss, but the fact that Deana and I were discussing it and we were getting sort of...
We were having convo about it. Yeah, like...
We were having a kind of animated conversation about it.
Yeah.
Kind of, and I told her, like, stop. This is clearly something we do need to discuss and continue this during on air because obviously there's something to do this. So before I before Deana and I speak on this, I'm going to explain it first, and then we'll go from there. So this is from an activist, Garasaza, and if I said the name wrong, I apologize. So Garasaza, who attended a concert at the Scotia Bank Place, Mariah Carey, no less, because some reason she wanted to hear Mariah Carey sing "All I Want for Christmas Is You" for the 120th time in the year alone. Decided to go there because that's something that people want to do. But as she explains it here, just 2 days after a racist shot 3 Palestinian students for wearing a keffiyeh, I was blocked by Scotia Bank Arena for entering the Mariah Carey concert wearing one. I guess I should be glad they didn't also take my Palestinian map necklace passed down to me by my mother. My mother. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, where we, started the discussion here to catch you guys up is that was the facts and whatnot. I said I was not too sure in regards to wanting to discuss this on the show because although I do agree with the fact that person wanted to go to the event, I understand why they are kind of nervous and concerned because there have been Palestinian protests at Scotiabank Place because Scotiabank's been involved with investments with Israel and with Israel companies. And so quite a few events have occurred, and I think I've shared a couple of those videos, and I know Deana may have shared quite a few of them too. So it was kind of one of those weird things, but as Deana pointed out, you know what? I'm not going to speak for Deana.
Yeah. So where I ended up disagreeing with that was, okay, sure, that's Scotiabank Place, but she had a ticket to the event. She wasn't there to protest. She got in because she paid for a ticket, which presumably was somewhere around $200 or something like that. So she's not
cheap.
Yeah. So she's not buying that ticket. And then the other thing that came to my mind is that she was profiled just because she was wearing something that is so common right now. And that is an automatic thought that she's going to protest because what? It's like when poodle skirts were I'm not comparing this to poodle skirt, but you know what I mean? Like not everybody wearing the same thing is doing like, this could be just the protest. And that's it. Like, nope, she's not changing anything. Or it could be because she's wearing, like, what the fuck? You can't be profiled like that. And she had a ticket to say that she was going into the concert. So fuck them. They shouldn't have been able to remove her. Fuck them.
So it's interesting. So again, it's when I'll admit my sort of view kind of changes, it shifts as I'm running through this whole thing. You've got a better sort of, no, this is wrong. And as I'm looking at this, I can't disagree with you. I understand I understand the business itself receive protests and they're kind of protecting their property, trying to protect their business.
From who? Somebody wearing a piece of material, like garment?
Well, they're concerned about people sort of taking over their lobby again. All right, cool.
Anybody could have done that. They didn't have to be wearing this. She's one person.
No, exactly.
Too.
And you're right, because it should be my first counter. It's like, that's cool. I'm going to take over your lobby, and all you're looking for is people wearing keffiyeh. Cool. You're not going to see the keffiyeh until I'm ready to show it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are you just going to ban anybody who looks like a Palestinian or an Arab? Because now you're right. At that point, you're now racially profiling.
It's like so disgusting, all of it. And yeah, people should be outraged by that. The Scotia Bank should be getting a tongue lashing.
You're absolutely right. It is absolutely it's absolutely something that's and again, I'm with you on this one in regards to discussing, because again, and as I'm thinking about this and discussing this with you, I'm finding it hard to go towards the middle. In regards to, yeah, they're going to protect their interests in regards to potential additional protests. But
They weren't protecting anything. All they were doing was sending a message. And the message has been clear since before this thing happened. They're like one of the banks that has the biggest fucking investment in Israeli shit, whatever it is. What weaponry? What is it? What is their?
So it's an investment in I can't remember the company that Scotia Bank's investing in, which I apologize because I know it came across from whatchamacallit, Palestinian Youth Movement or Palestine CAD, one of the two. But yeah, it was one of those two that came across that said what the investment was in. And it was a weapons thing.
Yeah.
So they did come in and they did. Sorry.
Elbit.
Look at you.
Its weapons were heavily used during
with the
Israel's
research.
11-day operation in Gaza in May 2021. The campaign, yeah. So this is from a day ago. I found it. Reuters.
Thank you, Reuters.
Yeah.
So quite a few of the weapons manufacturers and whatnot. So again, people have been active in regards to weapons manufacturers. Even last week, I think we were commenting in regards to quite a few protests going around. People sending military-style supplies out to Canada. And even I remember retweeting a video, both from TikTok onto Twitter, even, as well as retweeting a TikTok from a content provider I enjoy, and I think Deana's familiar with, Tribeless Outsider.
Yeah.
She's another very vocal Egyptian woman. They're vocal Egyptian women. You got to watch out for them. Who was kind of, pointing out that, we need to be aware that, us Canadians here, we do have things that we're sending to Israel.
We're funding this shit. We're
funding, we're arming, we're equipping. It's more just funding. It's not just throwing money. We're funding, we're arming, we're shipping, we're equipping.
So
there's
crazy. There's over 11,000 children dead right now. We've just paid to murder children. It is so fucked up. It's so fucked up.
It is. It's absolutely. So, continuing on to that, we go to the main event of Ottawa.
Fuck Scotia Bank place bullshit. Okay.
Deana being the quiet, demure person.
Need to make sure that was clear.
Yes, because that's our problem with understanding you, Deana. You're just uncertain in the message you're conveying.
I might have rambled a little bit, so I just had to in summary, fuck you. There you go.
That's a clip right there. Yeah. So, going back to staying to Ottawa in regards to Palestinian movement, this weekend, September 25th, a fantastic event occurred. This was
September 25th, November 25th.
November 25th.
Okay.
Did I say September?
You did.
Christ. What's wrong with me? So it's November 25th. I almost said it again. Fantastic event occurred. This was organized by many of the events, including Labor for Palestine, which is one I wasn't familiar with till recently. And I think, Deana, you're the same thing too, in regards to who they were. So they have organized an event for the Palestinian March, as well as they upped the entire ante by bringing buses.
The
and
stage
getting
setup, the sound system this time. Like I
Yeah.
remember the first one that we went to, she had a megaphone. That's what she was able to use. The first two, I think. And then they came out with the speakers, and then they came out with the multi-level speakers, I think.
Yeah.
Like or just all around the edges or whatever. Like, yeah, they're doing amazing work. I'm so the Palestinian youth movement, like I'm just so highly impressed by these people. So
And
fucking
I want to acknowledge not just like the ones we're discussing here, but it's the fact that all these groups
Yeah.
that we've mentioned, including ones that we're not
CSO.
aware or not mentioning,
Yeah.
they're all increasing and they're all just building and working together and
What
just
a community.
raising it up.
What
Yeah.
a fucking community. And the shit that they're doing and how they're
Yeah.
like, they're just, it's so well done. They impress me. When we went to Indigo,
Yeah.
is that what we're about to talk about?
Well, no, I'm skipping Indigo.
Okay. Well,
So
we went to Indigo. They had
Mhm.
bookmarks made out of paper with information about what was happening in Palestine. Like, how fucking brilliant is that? So when people go by, they're like, here's the bookmark and whatever. And they
Yeah.
knew why we were there. Like, it's not like they didn't know. We had signs everywhere. We're chanting and shit like that. But it's just,
That's
they
true.
impressed me so much.
So as a side story before we move on to the main one, which is, we were at the Indigo protest, which was on the Fridays, the day before Saturday, which is one of the reasons why we're kind of tired, because we decided to do twice as many events as we were expected to.
Right.
Um,
I mean, that's part of being an extremist. But anyway.
That's true. Political extremists.
Correct.
As we were there, though, at that particular rally, and it's one that I just want to comment on because I was sitting there watching, and the youth that were there, because everybody there was younger than Deana and I, because that's just the way it is.
I'm not considered youth anymore. I almost gonna have the seniors bus pass, I think. Anyway.
Yeah, it's true. Me first. But they were absolutely phenomenal. Like these guys were absolutely incredible. They were great and well organized. They got there full of energy. They were absolutely incredible. I was envious with their energy and messaging. Phenomenal. The only thing that I thought was kind of funny, because I was watching them and they were great with the chants. They were great with the power and everything else. But every so often, Deana was able to lead the chants without a megaphone. I shit you not. She was there.
Yeah, the whole time. Loud.
The whole time. And some of them were saying, like, should we pass the megaphone? And I'm looking at like, you don't need to. And literally, usually it's the megaphones leads a chant, and then the crowd kind of follows.
Yeah.
At one point, and it's the only clip I did not get prepared, is where you are leading the chant without a megaphone, and the megaphones are following you, and I'm like, that's just.
But it's the opportunities were there. So like the way that it happened is, if I saw a customer going into Starbucks, immediately I would start chanting boycott Starbucks, and that pull everybody over because they're missing that opportunity. And then when somebody's going to Indigo, right? So it's like,
I'm not even concerned about like being a target of you, but I'm looking over you like, I'm fucking nervous. Because you're like, boycott Starbucks.
But yeah, their chants were awesome though. Like I really liked their chants too, and I really liked the people who came out. And yeah, I thought it was an effective day.
It was an absolutely fantastic day, and it's not to and in any way, if anybody tries to say I'm trying to say that they weren't good. No, they were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Everybody there was absolutely phenomenal. And again, the moments that Deana sort of like led the chant at certain points, it was, just certain kind of points closer to the end that were kind of interesting and fun. But no, these guys were, it's, Palestinian Youth Movement, because I believe that was the particular group in regards to that organized that particular event for that evening. They were phenomenal. The people that showed up there, fantastic. We saw them again on Saturday.
Yeah.
They are absolutely wonderful. If you want to join and participate, follow them. They're on Instagram is their big place. So Palestinian Youth Movement on Instagram, go find them, follow them. They'll always let you know as to where their next events are coming up. I believe they'll probably have another one this weekend because I know that every weekend we're doing another event.
Yeah.
So follow them, keep track in there. But yeah, incredible. Like as long as these guys are doing this, there's hope. At least
And it was
in my
very
heart.
last minute that we found out about their Indigo, and they had 3 locations, so that was cool. Anyway,
So the
sidetrack.
Indigo, yeah. So
Sorry.
following through, because again, did not slate that. Following through, so the main event though, because as wonderful as Indigo's was, the main event was still Saturday, which was the National March
Historic.
on Ottawa. Huge. So National March on Ottawa, it was fantastic. This, as I said, it was organized by Labor for Palestine as well as many other organizations. They had buses coming from Toronto, Hamilton, Kitchener-Waterloo, Montreal, Quebec City, and Mississauga, as well as additionals. I had information that they had a total of 9 buses. So it came out to 450 people. I think Dean and I were discussing that.
Yeah.
We were the whole thing.
If it's 50 people on a bus, yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
So 50 people on the bus, at least the size of the scale of the bus, and they had a total of 9 buses. I'm like, all right, that's cool. And so it doesn't sound like much. And it's true, it's not much, especially compared to the amount of people that were at the venue.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah, like tens of thousands of people. They were wrapped around. It was crazy. Like, yeah, look at that. Look at that. That is Canada Day craziness on the hill. That's 56,000 people right there.
So that there, and I'm even going to do a little bit of an extra here, which is get rid of Deana and I.
Yeah, do that.
It is packed. So this came in from 613 Antifa. We've got a good capture of that particular screenshot, which was, and again, if you watch Deana and I when we do the Palestinian marches and whatnot, I've shown screenshots of Parliament Hill, this particular camera from this particular view. I've never had it this perfectly
and everybody
full.
could hear. So like it was so well done. And and so Joe and I are right, like see the
Can you see us right there? We're right there.
Yeah, we're right in the front, in front of the podium on the ground. We are literally all the way up to the front. So Camilla was there. We were sitting down. I was live streaming with the thing on there, and Camilla and Joe came. And so Camilla had to use the bathroom. I wish I had brought my phone. I thought Joe's there. I'll just keep it on the speeches, which were great. And so I decided to take Camilla to the bridgehead, which is on Spark Street at the corner of Metcalfe and Spark Street. And once we got out of the gates and I saw Wellington was fucking packed too, it was
I'm going to show that to them too.
Okay,
I'm
good.
going to show that. Yeah. I've got a clip that's ready of my footage. Yeah. So before we get to my particular clip, I mean, there's in my clip, there's quite a few things, including, sorry, I don't have a clip of the one particular speaker. I got a good shot, which I was quite happy to get, which is of Sarah Jama.
Sarah Jama, yeah.
She was phenomenal to listen to. Again, the new independent MPP, because that was a terrible move. I'm going to say it. I don't care. NDP fucked up.
Huge. And they're continuing to fuck up when it comes to Sarah Jama. Let's just be real about that.
Yeah. You're not going to get an argument from me. Period. No, she was absolutely phenomenal. She spoke up. She's been speaking up, and she hasn't changed her message in regards to everything in regards to
And her
to
message
Palestine.
is not even extreme. Like, what the hell?
And
Like,
that's coming from an extremist like me.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. But honestly, like, what? So ridiculous.
Exactly. So looking over some of that. So here's a bit of footage again. I don't have any audio here, but it was an absolutely incredible sort of event. There was a large Jewish community, Hasidic community that showed up. A lot of people that came up to speak. Alex Silas, as we have here.
Alex had such a great speech. Are we going to hear any of it?
Alex, I didn't get the speech in there. He did, absolutely. But Alex is absolutely phenomenal. He's a machine. You and I have seen him in these events many times before. Phenomenal. This imam was absolutely fantastic. I did not remember his name.
He's from Lebanon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And here I just try to get a good capture of the size here. You guys saw the hill. And this is while the hill is full, the entire Wellington Street is packed. And we're not just talking about just in front here where I'm
it's
looking
all
here.
the way to the end. Like, it's crazy.
This is me, and this is where I move over to the PMO's office. It is still absolutely packed the entire way. It is phenomenal. And I got a wonderful kind of preview of the lineup before the march starts. It is a huge, huge event. People are absolutely pumped up for it. It is fantastic. It was wonderful to see so many people coming out for this.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
It was amazing. Yeah, I've never been part of a protest that big before.
Yeah.
It was so good. And then
it was incredible.
Just like, so when I went to Bridgehead was packed with all people who were going there, all the like other places. When we did the march and we walked around, the rooftops and the bridges were all packed with people too. Like, it's not just the people who are at the hill and who were on Wellington. Like, there were people everywhere. It was like incredible. I can't believe I bumped into my mom and my sister in Bridgehead. That was perfect timing. So I was able to run back to my stuff and leave Camilla with them. And then they brought Camilla back to us. Like, it was great. And Camilla got a hot chocolate out of it. So yeah, it was good.
Which is always a bonus for Camilla.
There were tens of thousands of people there, as if I bump into them at the most convenient time. Like, that's how the world works in my world. That's why it's insane.
Absolutely. It was, you're right. I mean, it was tens of thousands of people. It was a huge amount. It was, the entire Parliament Hill was completely packed tight.
I say 90.
Was packed tight.
Somebody reported 100,000. At first I said 100,000, but then I wanted to be like, maybe, because that number kind of gets weird to me once it gets that big. But
so 190,000, I'm kind of uncertain about. Tens of thousands. Yeah, you and I are definitely on the same page there. It's in the tens of thousands. I will definitely say over 50,000. I'm not saying it stops at 50.
The hill itself is 50,000.
I said, it's over 50,000. I'm not saying it's 50. I'm not saying it's less than 60. I'm saying it's over 50,000. And I'm not saying 90,000 not off the table, but it's just definitely north of 50.
I think it's at least 90. I wish more people would report on it, and I really hate the fact that they used to report on numbers at protests, and for some reason they're not reporting on numbers at protests. That's really frustrating.
I think it's because people complain about the interpretation of the number and whether or not that number is, agrees with what people are feeling or not. And I get that. I've also...
No, that's not why. That's not at all why that's happening.
And I'm not discounting that particular thing. So as Dana, we're also looking at this before we move on here. We did see a couple of people sort of discuss certain stories. We're discussing this discussing this particular event, and they were like, there were thousands of people. We're like,
That's what's
Thousands?
happening in the stories. They're saying thousands of people. Who says thousands of people when there's over 20,000? Now you're in the tens of thousands. Like,
Yeah.
it's all by design. It's so fucking weird and disgusting.
It is. It does feel like it's a bit of a minimization, an intentional kind of minimization.
It's
And
intentional.
yeah, if you look at the original photo here, as I said, in regards to the Parliament, it's packed. At this point, Parliament packed at this point is close to 50,000+.
Yeah.
That's a number. That's a statistic that's been shown. Showed you Wellington and everything there. Probably throw in another. Even we went conservative, 55,000 on the hill, maybe 5 to 10,000 on Wellington Street. We'll make it the conservative 60,000. That's still in the tens of thousands.
It's more than 60,000.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just
know.
trying to prove the point of the minimum.
Yeah. Well, then they should have.
Hard to say.
They should be reporting it because I know the police keep track of the numbers. I'm gonna FOI that shit.
If it's in the reports, for sure.
Better be. How do they plan? How do they plan for these events if they're not keeping track of the numbers? How do they know how many people to staff if they're not keeping track of the numbers?
They go with estimations.
Well, yeah, I'm not expecting them to know that they don't have a clicker. They're not clicking every time somebody goes through the gate like Costco.
Really?
I get it.
You don't see the clicker guy? You don't see the clicker guy when you show up?
That shit ain't happening.
Oh, shit. Damn. So, the last story of the evening. This one is one that Tina had discussed a little bit. More of an incredulence than anything else. So, I'm going to let Deana start to explain this one on the overview. So this starts off with the response crisis translation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead. I mean, it's, you can go ahead.
So the story as we got here, this has to do with a hostage that was released from Israel. And during the time that this hostage was released, this is Palestinian. They only spoke in Arabic. So they talked to the journalism in Arabic. While doing so, BBC translated. What gets really, really concerning is that, they show the translation, they show it on the screen, and everybody's fine. Problem is that the Arabic people listening in during this time and also looking at the translation went, yeah, that's cool, bro, but what you're saying and what's true... Sorry, what it was...
It's not even cool because they're trying to claim that she's praising... Yeah, that's not cool.
I'm underwhelming. Let me finish. I'm going to get to exactly where you're at. That's cool, bro, but what you're saying and what the person is saying are two very, very vastly different things. I can kind of appreciate that, not specifically in Arabic, but again, if I'm hearing something in French and somebody's translating it to English, and if I'm sitting there looking at one, oh yeah, that's what they're saying in French, and I'm looking at the screen like, yeah, that's not what they're saying. What the fuck are you saying on the bottom? So I get that. So particular points here that I want to point out, it's like, is this particular the person, the hostage that came out, they're saying apparently, according to BBC, only Hamas cared. But once we get to the actual translation, this is where it gets really, really terrible.
She didn't say only Hamas cared. She said, I love them. I love Hamas. That's a big difference. And they are lying. She said, fuck all about Hamas. That's the problem. She didn't just say...
I was getting to that.
Yeah.
I was getting to that. I understand. So... we've got this bigger tweet here, and I'm going to retweet the entire sort of this entire content here after the episode, so that everybody can take a look. But the point is, the original Arabic language is on the left. So if you're familiar with it, the correct translation is in green. We've not only as Deana has confirmed it, a couple other people have confirmed it for us as to being pretty close to sort of what the translation is, versus the BBC one, which is vastly in some parts different. And we're talking about sort of like some stuff could be kind of mistranslation. And you know what? I will get mistranslation to a certain degree, but some of it was very, very extreme to this is beyond contextual. Like, if you say something like, I was sitting there for like 12 days to I was sitting there with 12 shoes. All right, you got that wrong. Cool. But things are vastly different to like, I was as they had here. They've imprisoned us for a month. As winter came, they cut off electricity. We almost died in the cold weather. Versus, and no one helped us, only Hamas cared. Those who felt our suffering thanked them very much. Two vastly different interpretations of a message that shouldn't be that vastly different.
And whoever had the fucking audacity of putting that shit on there should be fired and never be responsible for putting information out to anybody ever again. And BBC should be so fucking ashamed of the fact that they did that, if they have any fucking scruples at all. Or if it was completely intentional, man, do we have a fucking problem.
So my concern is more about the latter. If they were handed the script of what to say,
they're a public broadcasting system. They better not have fucking been given a script to say something. Like, heads have got to roll for this.
So you're right. Our, government should never be a problem when it comes to this entire situation. That's why we have no problems to get our leaders say ceasefire.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so out of control.
It is. So one of the reasons why we kind of brought this one particular up is to kind of give everybody here sort of an example of, we've mentioned, and again, I say this and it feels kind of weird that I feel like I'm being conspiratorial. But even to the mainstream media, you have to be concerned.
Yeah.
And it's weird, but I'm like,
it's not conspiratorial. This is history.
I know. But give me a moment here to explain here. It sounds conspiratorial as we're trying to be the reasonable voice and like, the mainstream media should be kind of reasonable. But again, last year around February, Deana and I had instances on Parliament Hill. Our footage showed what was going on, and then you've had edited clips from mainstream media, global news, showing you a completely different version because they just clipped it. We're now showing you BBC, where there's two vastly different versions of a translation. Mm-hmm. And again, you don't need to believe us, because why should you? Ask any person who understands Arabic to translate both. And again, I'm going to be retweeting that particular clip that has the original raw footage of the person speaking Arabic that can translate for you, and to get an actual understanding of what's being said. Hell, even take Google Translate to do a vocal translate. Let them give you a sort of an impartial. There's sometimes these guys aren't always being honest.
I have never stuck up for mainstream media ever. And I'm talking about mainstream media journalism. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that the journalists are the ones who are the problem. I don't think they are. And when people attack journalists, they're fucking idiots, because it's not the journalists who are a problem. And journalists actually do the research and the review and all that other stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, they're actually doing the work. So yeah, the fact that they put out that propaganda is super concerning. It is not, to me, a conspiracy theory. I brought this up a short 2 months ago about how the media portrayed Islam and Muslims and terrorism. And look at this, we're reliving it now. Like, it's back. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't always totally gone away, but man, it was sure as hell better than it was back in the 80s and the 90s. And here we fucking are. Like, it's so ridiculous. It's so bad. So no, I'm not shocked at what I'm seeing. I'm pissed. And I don't like, I'm
Should be.
not surprised either, but I'm pissed. Like, I can't believe we're in 2023 and like people are putting out flat out lies, and these are people we're supposed to be trusting. Like, it's so dumb.
I'm always wondering, like, if we're just catching them better now.
Yeah, well, we are, because we know what's going. Yeah, of course we are. I mean, when I lived in Canada, I mean, I was born here, but I mean, when I was growing up in Canada with my Egyptian family and their Egyptian group and friends and whatever, and then there was a few Arabs back when I was young. I was the only Sharif in the phone book. Like, we were the only Sharif in the phone book. Now, like, if there was a phone book, there'd be a whole book for Sharifs. Like, that's where it is. And
What's a phone book?
yeah, what's a phone book? Exactly. So we didn't have the maybe diversity that we have now in terms of being able to talk to other people, cultures, and everything, for people to know firsthand what's going on around the world. And now we have social media on top of it. So we can talk to each other about, somebody who knows Arabic can be like, what the fuck? My mom, I sent it to her and she's like, nothing she is saying has to do with the translation. I was like, okay, I have the text message. She's like, yeah. She's not surprised either. She's pissed.
She's not. And I mean, most people are. Most
The
people
more
have been in there for a
surprising
while.
thing is that they would do it knowing that they could be fact checked. Like, isn't that what we fucking did all of 2020 and 2018 and 2016, actually, ever since like Trump came along? Fact checking became the thing because it had to be. Like, why?
But yeah, but they've been busy on again. They've been while sort of extending the gap between the two sides. The gap on the right and the gap on a few sides have been working hard in finding ways to invalidate fact checking and villainize it. We are working in a world where we can invalidate fact checking.
Yeah,
something that should be that's part of science, invalidating information. Yeah, we're finding a way to politicize that and just validate, because why not?
And that whole info on Wikipedia and how they do seminars for people to manipulate Wikipedia is just so fucking breathe. Like, it's just so. Not that Wikipedia was my, only go-to, but now it's not even gonna even be a go-to. Like, I'm not even gonna bother with Wikipedia. Fuck Wikipedia. None of it. I don't even want to look. I don't even want to get sort of an idea of anything. I'll just look elsewhere.
That's fair. All right. That's it for us tonight.
Yes, good night.
A little bit over. There was a lot more stuff we were supposed to go into that I didn't put in there, we didn't put in there because there was other stuff going on. But again, huge amount. Before we get into the whole, before we sign out, let's also not forget important things. Again, this particular month, I'm going to be hammering a little bit more for Danny to help him out. It's going to be a very busy month. Please, if you guys can help out Danny, send money. It's huge. It's important. He is fighting. He's fighting somebody who's really a pain in the ass. Yes.
He's fighting a villain.
And the more you guys can help out, the more you can come back in. And the guy is just absolutely rocks the lo-fi beats.
Yeah, he's
just
awesome.
Chill you out. Please help him out. Get some money in there. Let's see if we can bring him up to quite a bit too. Again, the guys can usually relax. He's not being relaxed. I'm kind of nervous, feeling for him. Let's see if we can chill him out a bit. Please help him out. As well as, if you guys want to get involved and help out, don't forget to join us on Ottawa Defense Collective, and as well as on the Discord, at the Ottawa Activism Discord, where we all discuss, chat, see what's going on, throw in stories. On the Ottawa Activism, you can actually propose stories for us to cover on the show. We have a whole channel for that, as well as if you want to, throw us ending clips if you want to, as stuff that you guys might find entertaining as a closing clip. We'll give you guys a shout out if you do. And as always, don't forget to join us on Friday nights on our Twitter Spaces, Deana Joe Space, where we pretty much let you guys direct the show. That's it for us. And for this week, we weren't quite big on the funny clip because, you know, it's been a kind of a crazy, hectic week. We decided to give you guys something a little bit lighter. Enjoy a nice, relaxing clip because, you know what? Sometimes you just need a little bit of peace from the animals.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.